Hey everybody, Barry here again. This little video is going to be a talk only, so no sound comparison between any of the components I'm about to show. It's going to be a talk only about what I'm using right now and what I have used before previously as a fly rig. And actually now my main rig. I am a Helix owner. I love my Helix. It's a great unit. It does everything. I think I mentioned that in other videos. And there's plenty of professional guitar players and videos online you can see all that's for. So this is going to be a talk only. I am not going to do a sound comparison. I'm going to just give you my personal opinion. And again, I'm an amateur guitar player in a cover band. So you want to see what these units do, you know, obviously go to like Pete Thorn or Scott from the Helix channel. Many others demo these products. Scott's a Line 6 guy, but you know, Pete Thorn demos both. You want to see somebody playing that knows what they're doing, watch him if you want to know what the product sounds like. This is just to show you, like, for a fly rig, if you're a you know, a weekend warrior guy like myself, and you don't want, you know, you don't have room. A lot of these stages we play and bars we play at are sadly up here in New England, the rock and roll live music scene's kind of, you know, out the window, which is sad in and of itself. So a lot of bands, you're relegated to, like, you know, you play a restaurant or a bar and you kind of get stuck in a corner. They were never designed to have live music in the first place. There's no stage, electric outlets, all that crap. By the time you get stuff on stage, drums, monitors, everything else, you really have not a lot of room. So I'm looking for these. This is for guys looking for a small footprint, but you still want good sound. This is a comparison between what I used to use and what I am using now. So what I did before the HX Stomp came out, I used a Freakout Dunlap Mini Wah and an Ampli Firebox, which is the smallest of the amplifier line. I think they have a 6 and a 12 also. I got this little guy, obviously, for the size. I have no faults with this unit. It was great. As a matter of fact, a couple of the amp models, the 5150 and the dual rec, I actually liked better than Line 6's version. So I'm not knocking Ampli Firebox at all. It has its place. And I used it for many, many gigs when I wasn't slumping around my Helix. The problem with this little guy is it does amps great, and of course your own IRs, and you can, you know, it does 9 different amp models. You can't switch on the fly. You can switch between 2. There's a way you can set it so you can switch between 2 amps, but that's it. And the boost switch can be set to turn on like a you know, boost, a distortion, a compression, or a delay all at the same time, but you only get 3 extra effects, and you can't really mix them. I mean, you turn the boost switch on, you get either all or nothing, or, you know, however you decide to assign it, but you can't have, there's no modulation effects whatsoever in it. Like I said, it has a couple of compression, different compressors built in, a couple of different stomp boxes, you know, I think there's 4, to be fair, and a couple of different delays, an analog, a tape, and a, which are great. And for a small box, it does a lot, and it's compact, and it's great. But for size-wise, if you take a look over at the Stomp, it's maybe, what, 2 inches wider on each side, and you get, of course, all of Line 6 modulation, filter effects, synth effects, a plethora of distortion pedals, and of course all the amp modeling. This guy only does 9. It does them very well, but it only does 9. So what I'm using currently, I don't have my little extra foot pedal out, but right now I'm using this baby expression pedal, which is not much wider than the Stomp, as you can see. So it's just, that's my rig, those two. What I was using previously, a little bit wider, not by much, but she's a little bit bigger. Anyhow, small footprint, they both sound great. Between the two, obviously, I've been a Line 6 guy a long time. I'd have to recommend the Stomp because of the number of effects you get with it. And that's not to be unfair to the Atomic, because I bought the smallest Atomic they make. If I wanted a bunch of effects, Atomic does, you know, have a package that you can get that in. This is just talking about a small fly rig, and I'm just, my recommendations between the two. I'd have to go with the Stomp, because you get all the effects. You get the same amp bundle and IRs, but you get all the effects. And like I said, this guy, you can have up to 2 amps on. You can foot switch between one and the other. You have to dial them in beforehand, and then you set them up so you can switch. Like, you can dial in a clean and then a dirty, and then use your boost as like a lead and delay if you set it up that way, or however you decide to set it up. But you can only do 2 amps. That's it. Or 1 amp with 2 different channels of that same amp. But either way, 2 sounds is what you're limited to with this little guy. I loved it. Sounded great, but it kind of limits, you know, if you know you're one sound all night guy, that works. I'm in a cover band where I need to, you know, go from a Fender Twin with Stevie Ray Vaughan to, you know, we're playing Metallica covers or something, and I need, you know, a crunchy 5150. So not that guy can't do it, but there's other songs in between where you might want, you know, moderate distortion amp like the Matchless or something. Anyhow, I'm a lot of yammering going on. I don't mean to keep talking. Anyway, my personal opinion, go with the HX Stomp. It's not much bigger, as you can see. It does infinitely more. Not as much as a Helix, but the footprint is small on the setup. I mean, just to give you a rough idea how small, I mean, there's my guitar. How much big, the guitar is wider than both rigs put together. So, if you're a bar band guy and you ain't got a lot of room and you want a quick, easy setup, again, Stomp, really good. Not taking anything away from Ampli Firebox, because it does sound pretty gnarly. I mean, a lot of them amps are, and I'm a guy that, you know, if I could even dial it in with half as good as some of the, like Pete Thorn or some of the professional guys, I mean, it sounds awesome in its own right. So I'm not knocking that. It just, the capabilities are limited for the size of it, and for not much bigger, you get 10 times more things. So that's not a knock on amplifier, is what I must clarify. I am a Line 6 guy, but amplifier, that's why I haven't sold it. It's still pretty sweet, and I use it now and again. But that's just a basic comparison between the two, to give you a rough idea on size-wise. Sound-wise, like I said, if you want to hear how good they sound, get a professional guitar player, watch his videos, you'll see what they can do. I'm not going to hack it out in front of you, just for hackery's sake. Anyhow, that's my video for now. Talk to you guys later.